Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hello, everyone. So I've got a little bit of time before my next reading and that, so I thought I would cover off a topic, one of those bumper stickers that we throw around. So this one is all about reflection and the way in which life reflects us, okay? Now, if we're looking into reflection, then probably a good idea to get some understanding on water then, because we're made up 80% of water or thereabouts, and our planet's 80% water, and so water is the original substance of all life, a chemical reaction can only take place in a water medium. Water differs from all other fluids, like it can be raised in a vertical pipe. It accumulates all of the properties and characteristics of all that it comes into contact with. It doesn't decompose very easily. It matures. And this is like 80% of what we're made up of, And even in like the world that we're living in and that, like reality out there, we're underwater to a certain degree in our natural physical world, because otherwise we wouldn't fog up the windows and that. And so we're in something called an atmosphere, and atmos is a Greek word and it means vapor, and so we're in a vapor sphere. So we're in a water medium anyway, and so all life is reflecting us constantly, So I'll give you some context with this. Imagine a rainbow, right? And imagine that you are the colour red in the rainbow. And I'm not saying red for any significant meaning. I mean, you can imagine you're the colour blue, whatever. I mean, that's not important here. So imagine you're the colour red in the rainbow, okay? So you're imagining that? Okay. What is the only colour that you can't see? The only colour that you can't see is the colour red, because you are the colour red. So the only way that you're going to know that you're the colour red and know about yourself is from what blue and yellow and green, and I don't even know if I've got these colours right, but the other colours in the rainbow, from what they reflect to you about yourself, And so we're kind of all doing that for and with each other, through our experiences that we're having in that. So now I'm going to put a physical experience in context, because all this learning and understanding for me has all come like, I always got the scientific sprinkling there, but then I've got and then the bumper sticker of what that might be, and then the physical experience I had, which gave me understanding on that subject, so there's usually those three things covered in anything I'm explaining. And so in life, right, so say years ago I had a relationship and I was really young, like 17 or whatever, and my boyfriend cheated on me, and so I ripped my heart out. I was very hurt, very broken, and my responses were, did you kiss her? Was she prettier than me? I need to know every detail. Did she have bigger tits than me? Did she this? Whatever, we call that first love, whatever. And then say like 20 years later in my life, I'm in an experience with somebody and in a relationship and they cheat on me, and now when all of that happens, it's like what I'm noticing is my response is very different in there, It's like I haven't got all those previous questions that I had 20 years ago, My response now is very different. So my response now might be something like, oh, okay, well, maybe do I know this person? And deciding whether it's a deal breaker for me and that, and also, I don't know, looking at what I'm learning about it, whatever, but it's different. It's not those same responses as years ago. But in that moment, right, what I'm also realising in that moment is that my responses are different now, because the only reason my responses were different back then is because those were all the insecurities that I had about myself. Those were all the fears. Those were all the, and now, because my response is this way, it's like now I know that I've overcome them, I've addressed them, I'm more secure in myself. I'm more confident, more seeing my own worth, value, whatever, Now, I wouldn't know it'd be different or anything until a similar experience presented and the response was different, So it's like being a read of the rainbow and someone out there, life and experience, reflecting where I'm at in my personal growth now. Otherwise, I wouldn't know, So life is constantly giving us that self-insight through that process of reflection. And even on a smaller layer, because it's just about going through all the layers and everything, On a smaller layer, it's like, we engage in conversations like we might say to a mate, oh man, if that had been a couple of years ago, I would have lost the plot, and it's like, actually, I'm quite surprised with how well I dealt with all of that, or how, there's that recognition of our growth and that self-insight and that, which we, wouldn't have without the experience presented to notice that different response. So we're all kind of doing that for each other through life and that, through our growth and through our interactions with each other and that. And, it's all reflecting insight into ourselves as individuals all along the journey. So, yeah, that's the way in which life reflects us. And there's other layers to it, but just to kind of, keep it simple. That's for today.